Hi, Akshay. I'm so sorry. I was in a meeting. I got stuck there. Akshay, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
So sorry.
Fine, ma'am.
48 is the starting time. Okay, cool. Um, where is the this one? So what did we learn last class? I think
Uh,
I remember asking you to read the textbook and come. Did you read?
ma'am, no, ma'am. You didn't tell that only.
Odi Wongo. I remember you. I
Oh,
telling
we
you.
finished the
Don't
chapter
take.
only, no?
I didn't finish the chapter.
Oh,
I
we didn't.
just started with auxins.
Oh, after weekend, no, I just forget what we did.
Very nice. Nice.
Like, I
Nice.
remember all the topics. I just
I
forgot
think I
which
should,
stuff.
you know what? Don't do like this, okay? My mom sits right in front of me when I'm taking class. And when you tell like this, she's just laughing at me.
Oh, no, ma'am. I remember everything you taught and all. Like, if you ask me a question and all, I'll answer.
Just now
It's,
you said you forgot
I don't
everything.
remember where we left off.
Very nice. Oh, very nice. Okay, tell me the functions of oxen.
Some growth. Oh, you asked me
Dang.
last class also.
What is the specific?
That
Last class only we studied about oxen in detail.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, see,
Yes,
ma'am.
yes,
First,
I'm
growth,
seeing. Uh,
elongation, and then
uh,
growth, all of that.
uh.
Then the apical dominance we learned, no.
Apical dominance we learned. Very good. Who's responsible for apical dominance?
Ma'am, see, apical, first, wait, ma'am, I'll tell you what apical dominance is.
Now he's
Like,
opening a PPT, I think.
nothing, ma'am. See, we learned some pine tree and then one crying weeper or something.
Okay. Wait a
In
second. My question was, what is the function of oxen? நீ அது
ma'am,
சொல்லாம
that is
எல்லாத்தையும்
growth,
சொல்லிட்டு இருக்க.
growth,
Growth, what growth?
stem
Growing
elongation,
laterally, growing
stem
vertically, all
elongation,
these are growth.
stem elongation.
Then
Then this thing elongation, what is that? Cell
this thing.
elongation.
Which elongation?
Cell.
Okay.
And then that in the dark shadow region from that oxygen, it'll help in bending towards the light or something.
Mm-hmm.
Oxygen will be present in the shadow region of the plant, so it'll help it bend towards the light
Okay.
and helps phototropism. And then it helps in maintaining the apical dominance. And then
Okay.
what else it does? Wait, uh, ma'am, this thing you told no. It maintains dormancy,
Okay. It promotes dormancy or it
like promotes dormancy.
okay.
Hello.
Tell me.
No, ma'am, it won't promote. Sorry.
Hmm.
It promotes. It promotes. It maintains dormancy.
What does it do to abscission?
Ma'am, it will prevent wilting of leaves. That's what abscission.
Okay, it will prevent or delay.
Delay abscission.
Okay, okay.
Those were your exact words.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
See, ma'am, majority
Uh,
of your
okay, Ra. Very good, Ra. I'm proud of you. Cool. So now we'll come to the next particular, hormone. So other hormones and all, whenever we talk about them, we don't talk about. So we talked about how auxin was discovered. Yes.
hmm.
Like who was the scientist who was involved in that process?
Two people were there.
Two
One,
people. Actually, one person was the one who did the primary work.
two
Who's that?
experiments were there. One person told
Okay.
it was some chemical that causes that growth, and the other
In the
person
coleoptile. That was
told on the
Darwin.
polyactor it was the auxin present.
Yes, that is auxin present in the shoot tip and the
Yeah,
root tip.
that person who told this thing, auxin was there on the coleoptile root tip was that Fritz.
Huh? Who?
Fritz Wendt or something. Wendt.
Wendt is the one who said that auxin is present at the shoot tip. He didn't say coleoptile.
Shoot tip.
So
Fritz Wendt.
Darwin was the
Wendt.
one who, no, Darwin was the one who said coleoptile is the reason why the bending is happening.
That's what. And
Yeah.
this dude Fritz Wendt told it was present on shoot tip.
What is the test that he did?
That light test.
What is it called? There was a test name is there, that bending
Oh,
tester.
wait, ma'am, it has some weird scurvy test or something. Some weird name is there.
Avena curvature.
Avena curvature. That's right.
Okay, well, give me the examples of auxins, synthetic auxins.
Phenyl something, phenyl acetate auxin.
Phenyl acetate.
Ma'am, phenyl something something. Ma'am, see, ma'am.
Phenoxyacetic acid.
Phenoxyacetic acid. Then dichlorophenolic acid also. Then NAA.
Dichlorophenoxyacetic only I am talking about.
NAA, naphthalene acetic acid.
What about natural auxins?
Iodine, this thing is there. Iodine is there. No. That is natural occurring hormones. Natural auxin is this thing, no, ma'am. What is that? What is that called? What is that called? Indole acetic acid.
Indole acetic acid, indole butyric acid. Okay.
Indole propanoic acid
now,
or something, you know, you're telling.
Fine. So now we'll come to the next hormone, which is gibberellin. So there's a slight story again behind this. Unlike a particular chemical experiment, so where this experiment actually started before the discovery of gibberellin was, so there was a farmer who was cultivating the rice plant. Okay. So what happened was he used to spray something on the rice, some sort of fertilizer or some pesticide or something he used to spray. Okay. So what happened was that plant was growing tall and tall and tall and tall. It was not flowering, but it was growing. Okay. So the farmer was like, what a foolish plant this is. It is only growing in height, but it is not producing seeds. Because only if it produces seeds, can you cultivate more and more? Yes or no? So this thing was only growing in height. The rice plant was growing in height than its original size. Okay. So he was like, what is this? Then he understood that the plant is having a disease. Okay. And he called this disease as the Bakane disease.
The what, ma'am?
Bakane.
Bakane.
Yeah, Bakane disease. Okay. So Bakane disease.
Randomly or what, ma'am?
No, Bakane, because this happened in Japan. So it's their language. Okay. So Bakane actually means foolish.
Foolish.
Yeah. So that farmer found it very foolish that this plant is simply growing in height, but it is not producing any seedlings. How is it possible? So he called it as a Bakane disease. Later on, there was a scientist. Okay. Japanese scientist. His name is Kurosawa.
Kurosawa.
Yeah, you need to know the name, okay? Eiichi Kurosawa. Yeah. So he was the one who discovered that there was a fungus which was, infecting the plants. Okay. And he called this fungus, that fungus name was Gibberella fujikurae.
Gibberella
fujikurae.
Ma'am, all this they actually did.
Yes. So no stories. These are things that happen. Yeah. So what is the name of the fungus that was affecting the plant because of which they were growing tall?
Gibberella fujikurae.
Yes. Then he understood that by what in that fungus is causing it to grow tall. So what happened was there is this particular chemical called as gibberellin, which was present in this Gibberella fujikurae. Okay. So this gibberellin, that chemical, he named it as gibberellins. So what happened was Eiichi Fujikurae was the one who discovered this hormone called gibberellin, or also known as gibberellic acid.
Gibberellin or gibberellic acid.
Yes. So that was that fungus was so the fungus which produces this gibberellin was Gibberella fujikurae. And who discovered this Gibberella fujikurae?
Fujikura.
It's Eiichi Kurosawa.
Oh,
even if
you
don't
need to remember this name.
No, you need to remember the Kurosawa part. You don't need to remember the Eiichi part.
Yeah, in option, if I get Kurosawa, that will be the answer.
Yeah, correct. Exactly. Okay. Now, later on, they discovered that there were also this gibberellins, which was present naturally in the plant also.
Ma'am, sometimes I feel NEET is too easy because you don't even have to mug up everything and go. You just have to know it because you will have the answer right in front of you.
Hmm.
You just have to recollect it and write it. Like you don't have to like mug it up and go like how you mug up every word of textbook for board exam.
Correct,
Like
exactly.
if
I'm
you read
glad
it
you
like a book,
realized
if you
that.
read it like a book also, it's fine. Like you'll just know. If you read it like a book, you'll remember the story. If I give you which of the following happened, you'll tell the correct one.
Correct, exactly. Okay.
But then
So
I know
that is
you
the
just
reason. That is the reason why. One
hmm.
second. Yeah. So that like that, but this particular fact that you realized, not many people actually realize it. So that is where you go wrong. So that this is a fundamental difference between your preparation for boards and preparation for NEET. I'm
Yeah.
happy that you actually understood it.
Because for 12th and all, I didn't even study like every single fact. I just read the textbook once and I wrote like NEET test for entire 12th, whatever is there in textbook. If I saw the four options, I was able to answer like almost all questions except those Mendel questions which you have to work out. For those things, you actually need to understand and all that.
Correct. Yes.
Remaining things, if you read it and then I give you four options, you can easily, once you read all four options, you can easily recollect that exact sentence that is there in textbook.
Mm.
That's
But
what my
yeah,
mind. My,
that's what you need to uh, train yourself also. Ah,
I
5 minutes
did it
thinking of
by
it. Ah, my
360.
goodness.
Now, 1 second, let me just get my charger. My laptop is
Yes.
up. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, just a second. I just want to confirm this fact, whether gibberellins are naturally found in plants or not. I'm getting multiple. According to your textbook, yes, but there are sources which says that it's not.
Oh,
I'm a little confused. Let me just confirm it.
wait 1 second.
Yeah. Because your textbook has a lot of lots of error. Like for example, let's take this molecular basis is there. No. Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Are you hearing me?
Yes, ma'am.
Cool. So that is clear then. Yes, it's a naturally occurring one. Yeah. So even though they discovered gibberellins as, particular thing that was found in this one, a similar compound was found in the plants. Okay. So they later on started digging on it further and further, and they discovered that there were different types of gibberellins. Okay. So the different types of gibberellins were simply named as GA1, 2, 3 like that. Okay. And the first gibberellic acid that they extracted from the plant was GA3.
GA?
3.
First gibberellin extracted from plants was GA3.
GA3. Yeah. So there are more than like hundreds of gibberellins that are there. Okay. Also, one more thing I would like to tell you is whenever you're reading from NCERT, for your exam sake, stick to whatever NCERT has told, because your NCERT is also wrong in many places. But at the end of the day, the correct answer key is from the NCERT. So make sure that you're sticking, even it's wrong or right. If you know the right one, you learn the right one, understand the right one, but go with the NCERT when you're answering in the exams.
So understand the right one, but go with the wrong one.
Correct. I am very sorry to say this, but that's the safest option you can go ahead with, because according to your textbook,
isn't there any re-evaluation in NEET?
There is re-evaluation. I don't think so. No re-evaluation in NEET. Because you will anyway get your answer. See, when you get your results, you will get your answer.
Papers, no, they only have in the machine, no.
Yeah, that is basically what they'll do is they'll release the answer key, no. So there is no re-evaluation of your paper, but they will give you a paper's answer script.
If I ask for everyone gets it by default.
Everyone gets it. Okay. So what happens is you can cross-verify your answer key and your this one together. The paper you marked together. Now what you can do is that in case if you feel that your answer is correct and the question paper is wrong, there is something called as challenging the board. So you can in that apply for and tell that your answer is correct, but the answer key is wrong. But then again, it's a very costly affair. Per question, it is 1,000 rupees.
But if I get that question correct?
If you get the question correct, it will be changed in the answer key and you will be getting marks and everyone will be getting marks accordingly.
Oh.
Yeah. So if you suppose say you find 5 questions wrong, 5,000 rupees gali.
But entire nation gets 20 marks extra.
In case if you are able to prove it correct, and now that's a long process again.
Yeah.
Got it? Yeah.
So basically, I'm basically screwing the board.
Yeah, you're screwing the board and no one likes to accept that they are wrong.
Ma'am, okay. I thought they'll give since I'm spending so much money, I thought they'll give at least like 20 bonus marks. Because I'm challenging the board and all.
Okay. So once again, quickly, we will revise whatever we did till now. So the first time they observed that there's something like this existing was because of Buckinay disease. Very good. Who was the scientist who discovered the gibberellin from the fungus? Kurosawa.
Kurosawa.
You don't watch animes? Japanese animes?
Ma'am, those are for kids, ma'am. Everyone around me watches it. I'm like,
Most of our kids, it's in sport. Even I watch. Anyway.
So do you watch?
Like if you watch animes, then you will be, and if you watch Japanese dramas also, you will be used to their terms.
See, I've seen Naruto, I've seen One Punch Man, and I've seen Death Note.
Yeah, I've seen Death Note and Naruto.
Man, you watched entire Shippuden, Gaiden, Boruto, everything.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Like Shippuden, Gaiden, Boruto, everything.
Yeah.
Whoa. I played the game, so I know the whole story. Like that only instead of watching so many episodes.
I just watched the episodes. Yeah. So as you watch, you will get these terms are very common. Okay. So then what happened was the fungus name. Okay, why I'm repeating this again and again is this fungus name is important And the scientist name is important. The fungus name, they had asked a question. That's why. Okay, so the answer is Fujikuroi. Gibberella fujikuroi.
Gibberella fujikuroi.
And who discovered it?
Kurosawa.
Yes. So, and later on, as time passed by, they discovered that this is naturally present in the plants also. Okay. And that's how they understood that, okay, this particular compound, this organic compound is helping in growth of the plant. Okay. That's how gibberellin came into existence. Up to now, there are around 100 gibberellins that are discovered. Out of which the first one that was discovered was GA3.
GA3.
Yes. Gibberellin is also known as gibberellic acid. So it is acidic in nature. Okay. And it is basically formed in the plastids.
Plastids, the first one is GA3. It's acidic in nature, commonly found in plastids.
Yes. And it is transported via xylem or phloem. Okay.
Transported via xylem or phloem.
Yes. Now we will come to the functions of gibberellin. Okay. First is, it will basically, it is helping the plant grow in height. Correct? So if the plant has to grow in height, the stem has to grow tall. Okay. So gibberellins will help in the stem growth. Now, when I say stem growth, what exactly in the stem growth? It will help in the growth of the nodes.
Growth of?
Nodes. So you know what nodes are, no?
Nodes, we don't know. Intercalary nodes. Those nodes present in
node?
Where the leaf starts.
Exactly. Or from the stem, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. So from the main stem, wherever the leaves start, that point is known as node. And the gap between two nodes is called as an internodal gap. Yeah. So that internode, if it increases in length, what will happen to the length of the plant?
Elongation and length of the increase in length of the plant.
Exactly. So that is one of the function of gibberellin. Okay. It also promotes in growth, but you need to know how.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Now, it will stimulate the growth in which all kind of plants? In dwarf plants, that is short plants. Okay. If short plants have to grow tall, they need gibberellin.
They need gibberellin.
Okay. Yes. And then in rosette plants. So when I say rosette plants, is basically like your cabbage, your cauliflower, okay, or broccoli. All these things come under the rosette category. Okay, so have you seen the arrangement of it?
Which, ma'am?
In a cabbage or in a cauliflower, or how it looks?
Full leafy it looks. Leafy.
Yes. So leafy, and it looks like they are all stacked up like a roses. Like you have a rose.
All in the back of a bouquet.
Yes, exactly. So that kind of an arrangement is called rosette arrangement. So all those plants like, beets and cabbages, they all come under this particular category called rosette plants. And gibberellin will help in the growth, stem growth of these plants. Okay. It's especially done before the flowering. That is, before the particular flower is formed in these plants, the stem growth is being promoted. And that process is called bolting.
Bolting. Before what is bolting?
So basically, gibberellin will help in stem elongation, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So in dwarf plants, it will just help. But in rosette plants, what it does is, before the flowering of the plant, okay, happens itself, it will cause the elongation of the plant stem. And that process is called bolting.
And that process is called bolting.
Yes. So basically, elongation of the stem before the flowers are formed is called bolting. And it's seen in rosette plants.
It's seen in rosette plants.
Yes.
Elongation of stem before the flower.
Yes, before the flowering happens. So this is seen in rosette plants like beets and cabbages. Okay. Now, the next one it does is, it helps in seed germination. Okay. So seed germination is nothing but the growth of the plumule and the out of the seed. and the root also out of the seed. That process is germination. That's all you know already, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So that is promoted by gibberellins.
So gibberellin
Okay?
helps in, till now we learned gibberellin helps in pumule, growth of seed, bolting. In dwarf plants, it helps in growth of dwarf plants.
That is
And
by
then
stem elongation. That
stem
also you need to
elongation.
specify.
And then, ma'am?
And then the next one is it will break the bud dormancy. So if the bud, that means it will promote flowering. So if there is a flower bud, that bud has to bloom, no, for the flower to open up. So sometimes if the condition is not favorable, the flowers won't bloom.
Yes,
So,
correct.
yeah. So during that time, the bud will be in a dormant stage. Who will break the dormancy? It is gibberellin that breaks the dormancy.
Gibberellin.
Yeah. So how you can get questions from this area, no? So what they can do, they can give you one is match the following. Okay. So what they will do is one side they'll give you different hormones and another side they'll give you specified functions which are given in your textbook.
One side they'll give what, ma'am?
All the hormones like auxin, gibberellin, and cytokine.
Like how you give match the following.
Yes, exactly. And then another side there'll be function. So now you know that all these gibberellin and your cytokinin and auxins, all these are growth promoting. So when you suddenly look at the function, you will feel like all are growth promoting function, which belongs to what you might not know. So that is why I am again and again asking you, tell me the function one by one. Don't tell growth alone. Understood? So because growth can be in different terms.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
because all indirectly promote growth only.
Exactly, exactly. So when if you are not
very of what, I have to know growth of what, exact what.
Exactly, yes. That is given, whatever is given in your textbook is only here also. So you need to know that very crystal clear. Sometimes like both two hormones does the same function. That is also there. Okay, but such ambiguous options they won't give you. Okay, so you need to be clear. That is why I told you last class to read your NCERT for auxins. What are the different functions? So there and then you'll be done. At least today, go read your NCERT. What are the functions of auxin and gibberellin?
Tomorrow, when you ask me anything about auxin and gibberellin,
you should be able to tell.
Done.
Okay. Another way of asking this question. Okay. I told you, no, like there will be like few things that are similar in some of the hormones. So they can tell you to spot which of the following statements are incorrect or correct. Okay. So they'll give you a set of statements. You need to find out that which one of them is correct or incorrect. Okay. Or they can also ask you that how many of the following statements are correct or incorrect. So in that case, you should know the concept so well because the statements will only vary by like one small word. And if you don't know the functions properly, you will definitely not be able to answer it.
Oh, I've seen those type of questions. I mean, other chapters also.
Correct.
They'll be so similar,
exactly.
but they won't be the same.
Yeah. So the problem, what I'm trying to tell you is the probability of you getting those kind of questions here is more. Okay, because these are all areas where you will get confused and where the question will look very simple from the out, okay? But you start answering, there will be some small twist in that which you might not pay attention. And that is where you lose marks. That is the mentality of a question setter also. Okay, on the out, the paper might be looking very easy, but there will be some small twists and turns in that particular thing, which might trick you out. Okay. Yes, and there can be also questions like, from multiple concepts, like not from one single chapter.
Not from one. Oh yeah, in board exam also they give like that.
So what will happen in that case is that your mind has to think in different chapters. Yeah, and you have to find.
If you that chapter and think, that means most of the times you might get the answer wrong.
Yeah, exactly. So these are the types of questions that you can predict. So when you're studying, you need to prepare in such a way that you can answer those questions. That's the reason why I'm saying here itself, like make sure you're putting a tabular column and learning. You can make a small tabular columns in your NCERT itself. So when you're revising also, you don't need to simply go through the entire textbook. You can just read the tabular column.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
So after bud dormancy, the next one is delays senescing. So when I say delays senescing means the process of getting old or aging. Gibberellins will delay that process.
Or like how oxygen delays wilting, abscission.
Correct. And here it is delaying of senescence.
Yes, ma'am.
Because if the plants are aging, then definitely it can't promote growth, no.
Yes, ma'am.
So that is the logic here. Okay.
If they're aging, growth reduces, no.
Exactly. If they're aging, growth reduces. So that so that means these hormones are not effective, right?
Their effectivity decreases.
Exactly. So now we will see the uses of gibberellins. Okay. So where they are applicable, in the direct life, even though they do all these functions naturally, you can also use them in the process of farming. So what happens is that this sugarcane is there, no? So sugarcane, if you see, it has like compartment wise, no? See here. Oh, sorry, this is apple. Can you see the compartments in the sugarcane? See, this is one, this is two, this is the nodes. Okay. So what happens in sugarcane is this length will increase. Okay. And because of this gibberellin, the sugarcane yield also increases. Okay. So like if you are using a gibberellin, if we are artificially spraying gibberellin on the plants while farming, okay, what happens is you can increase the yield of the sugarcane by around 20 tons.
If we spray gibberellin, we can increase yield by 20 tons.
For sugarcane, yes.
20 tons.
Yes, per acre. Okay. So imagine a farmer's profit he would get.
20 tons.
Yeah. Even plant hormones work similar to our hormone concept. Say, for example, if your body is lacking some kind of a hormone, what we do is we externally eat tablets which will contain that hormone, or it will contain
Then
something
people
which
who are
will help.
short can easily become tall by just getting growth hormone, no?
Yeah. Again, not for all the hormones there is medicine like that. And again, if you spray gibberellin on all plants will not grow like that. Okay. Yeah. So you need to make sure, where it works. Same concept with humans also. So again, not all the hormonal medicines actually work effectively for everybody. It will help to a certain extent. So in the case of sugarcane, it is doing a great job. In the case of gibberellin, if you are artificially giving it to the plant yield is higher. Okay. And even for grape stalks also, it will help in the length increase of the grape stalks.
It will help in what, ma'am?
Length increase of grape stalks.
Grape.
Yeah, grape is there, no grape.
Yes, like wine for that, ma'am.
Yes, yeah. And if you see, your grapes are always in bunches, no? Okay. So if you see a grape from a plant, a grape bunch from a plant which is not sprayed with gibberellin, and another this one which is treated with gibberellin. Okay. This is how it will look. Can you see the picture?
Ma'am, that is one grape. Oh, that big it became.
One bunch, yes.
Now, how expensive is this gibberellin?
Yes, the gibberellin, because that particular plant was treated with gibberellin, that bunch has a lot of grapes when compared to a plant which is untreated with gibberellin.
No, ma'am. How much does this gibberellin this thing cost?
How much does this cost?
Yeah.
I am not aware of it. I have to check it out.
Ma'am, and we just have to spray it or what? Like we don't have to inject it into
No,
the
you have
plant.
to treat it. You have to inject it, not spray it. Inject it basically.
So basically,
Such
we
a way
won't do
that
it.
Yeah, such a way that it is transported through xylem and phloem. Now, I'm not very sure of if the gibberellin can be taken up by the roots. If so, if you put it in soil, will it be taken up by the roots through xylem and phloem? That I'm not sure. So, as far as I know, they say always that spraying of gibberellin. This is a term I've commonly heard. So, I need to check whether how they are treating the plant with gibberellin. Even this is a case with the apple. It will improve the shape of the apple.
Which, ma'am? Gibberellin.
Yes, see the difference, see the image.
Shape of apple.
Yes.
One is round, another is like another look. The gibberellin treated apple only looks weird, no, ma'am.
Yes, I think in market you will find a lot of gibberellin treated because I have often seen these kind of apples.
Ma'am, best is take an apple, ma'am, rub it on your dress. You'll see like cricket ball, it will shine.
Okay.
I've seen that in Bangalore markets, ma'am. I don't know what they put on the apple, but if you rub it against your t-shirt or pant, that part will shine like on cricket ball.
Okay.
Is it because they put something? Is it apple's general property?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, ma'am. Do they like put something or is it generally apple will shine like that?
No. They say that some places they wax this apple. Layer of wax coating. Not our normal wax, a kind of wax which gives that shiny appearance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can't trust them. Anyway, coming back. So till now we learned that you can use it to increase the yield in sugar canes, increase the yield in grapes, length of the stem in the grapes. Okay. Then the next use is that shape of the apples it can change. And the next use is like in the brewing industry when they make this beer and all, the malt beers are there. No, so those things also they can in that they add gibberellin for increasing the production.
Oh, for like, that also gibberellin.
Yeah, you can add gibberellin there. Then the next one is that if you are like if we are like basically you have a plant. So a plant has 3 phases, right? One is a juvenile phase, another is the reproductive phase, and
reproductive phase and senescence.
Yes. So the maturation phase or reproductive phase is where the flowering will take place. Then the seed will be formed, the fruit will be formed, seed will be formed, right? So if there is a juvenile plant and you want that plant to grow faster and mature, then you can spray gibberellin.
Oh.
Yeah. Gibberellin will delay senescence.
Gibberellin is more useful than auxin.
Yeah. No, not exactly. Auxins are primary hormones for growth. Okay. Gibberellin will what it we learned. No, gibberellin will promote inhibit bud dormancy. So all these things will start growing faster when you spray gibberellin. Okay.
But ma'am, since won't suddenly making the bud go out from dormancy faster than it should, won't it cause some problems?
No, it won't cause any problem. See, like in some cases, if the condition is not favorable, that might not grow. But the person who's doing the farming might know what he's doing, right? So accordingly, only he will spray the gibberellin if needed. Yes, okay. It's not like randomly, okay, gibberellin is giving me yield, let me spray. Doesn't work that way. Some cases, what happens is there might be plants wherein it is still dormant, even if there is favorable cases. There also you can give gibberellin in order to promote the flowering. Okay. Fine. Hormone responsible for mobilization of stored food during germination is?
Mobilization of stored food? Gibberellin.
Correct. Where? In which plant?
What is that plant called?
What is a plant called?
What is the name? Conifer. Ma'am. Ma'am? Can you hear me?
Not in conifera. We learned no in dwarf plants.
Dwarf plants. Small,
Yeah,
short.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Native.
basically, when the seed is about to germinate, no, what
Mm,
will happen is the concentration of gibberellin will increase.
mm,
Say same is the case when bolting is happening.
mm.
Okay, when bolting is
Building
happening
stem will
also.
develop before the flower. Ma'am?
Huh. So, like, yeah, correct. So before the natural flowering period itself, if the flower is formed, okay, because of the
Mm,
gibberellin thing, that is bolting, yes. So it helps in bolting,
mm.
okay. Uh, so that's with the gibberellins. I hope you understood the function of gibberellins.
Ma'am, you send this to me. Next class, you ask me any question
I have
from
already
Jibril.
sent it to you last class. It's the same last class PPT.
Oh, that extension.
Mm,
Oh, ma'am, next class, you see me. If I
mm,
don't answer any question, no, ma'am,
mm,
we'll see.
mm. Okay.
Yeah.
One more thing about bolting I forgot to tell you is that, see, like, what happens is that if suppose, say, a plant is having unsuitable environment around it. Okay,
Mm,
that means a plant is like, it feels like it's 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 not going to survive. Okay, so what it does is it will flower before
mm.
the time it has to actually flower, and that is bolting, correct?
It will flower before the time it has to actually flower. Yes.
Yeah, that is bolting, yes or no?
No, ma'am.
That is bolting. That is what I was
Didn't
saying.
we say growth of stem before flowering?
Huh?
Bolting is growth of stem before flowering, right?
Growth of stem before flowering, and also, like, what happens is that, see, basically bolting is, there
Prematuration
are
of
two
flower.
things.
Sorry, prematuration of flower.
Yeah, there are two things that are happening actually. That prematuration of flower is happening. No, before that, there will be one more thing that is happening. That is, your internodes will elongate.
Mm,
Okay. As soon as the internodes elongate, the next step is flowering. But this flowering is a premature flowering.
mm,
That is flowering before the original flowering period has to happen.
mm,
And why does a plant do this process is because it wants to produce seeds
mm,
before it feels like it will get destroyed or something. So this is a natural process that happens in plants.
mm.
And who helps in this is gibberellin. So gibberellin concentration will be very, very high in seeds, in germinating seeds, and in plants which are bolting.
So in germinating seeds and plants that are bolting, it will be high.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Because they can also ask you in which of the following cases the concentration of thing increases, or they can give you, like, there is a thing seed, and I want to grow it taller. Which of the following hormones should the plant be treated with? That kind of indirect questions also can come.
Yes, ma'am.
These are all the different ways from where, see, this area is like a huge scope of a question area for a paper setter. Okay. So that's why I'm telling you all possible things that you can expect from here.
Yes, ma'am. So they'll basically literally confuse me.
Yes. It is
Even
not
if my
them
answer is
confusing
clear,
you. It's
like I
just
will
like, if
confuse
you
myself.
are, yeah, if you're not clear, you'll automatically get confused.
Like, yeah, ma'am, some questions, all four options look like they're right.
Correct. Exactly. Yeah.
But actually, only they'll differ by some small keyword that will be actually there in NCERT textbook.
Yeah. So you should be a little careful.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Mm.
I
No,
get
so
three.
we have only cytokinesis next in this chapter.
Ma'am, I'll get 340, ma'am.
That's it.
340 plus out of 360.
You should target 360, then only you'll come at 340 at least.
Ma'am, no, ma'am. If I target 360, I'll get off 360 only.
Oh, great. Amazing.
If I don't get, I'll have mental breakdown. That's why I'm keeping target as 340.
You should be ready for anything and everything.
So if I get, because I don't want to do repeater and all, that's so lame. Like people sit and study for 1 more year, waste their life and all. Unless you have it planned, it's waste. Like I know some people,
Mm,
ma'am, who had it planned, like my seniors and all, they never even touched NEET last year.
mm.
This year they're doing NEET, like with my grade. Like last year they focused only on board exams. And they all got
So,
like 97, 98, like that. And then
mm,
they started NEET. So they
I think
finish
that is
everything.
also fair enough. They just concentrated on one thing.
Yeah, that's what. If I'm that I should have planned that if I'm doing repeated in the beginning of the year only, like how they planned it out. Like they didn't
Yeah,
even
yeah.
register for NEET last year. They just left it. Like they planned it before even coming to 12th that they will do this thing.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, there are different people, man. Like everyone is not like everyone can't handle it parallelly. So it's okay
No,
to
some
do
people
that.
just want like to get into
And
very good colleges, so they want to, and they don't want to like take so much pressure and all.
yeah, that's a good idea only. You know what is wrong in that. 1 year is not going to matter. That too in this Corona period, definitely no.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
didn't plan to stay and all, so I'm planning to write it off this year only. I have to
Mm,
be in that smart category of people who crack it in just 1 year.
good only. Good idea. Keep it up.
That's what, ma'am.
Fair.
That's
Cool.
what,
Then
ma'am.
I will take cytokinins next class
Be
for you.
thankful
Okay.
for you to tolerate me for 1 more year.
That and all is not a problem. I might have to tell the other way around.
Ma'am, no, ma'am. But, ma'am,
Yeah, yeah.
even if I do 1 more year, which I won't, that's the
Mm.
confidence I'm having. Like, I don't have to study only, no, ma'am. It'll be mostly just practicing, practicing, practicing for a year.
Yeah, yeah. That is why everyone after a year generally gets through easily.
Yeah, ma'am.
And yeah, so listen, tomorrow's class when you're coming, make sure you're reading the NCRT for these two topics and also going through the PPT ones.
Ma'am, tomorrow, I told you, no, ma'am, any question, it'll be there.
சரி சரி இது நான் ஒரு நிறைய தடவை கேட்டுட்டேன். Okay, fine. We'll see.
But every time I tell you this, you forget to ask question next class.
Now you
So
should
we'll
remind me, no, ma'am, I studied and came ask me questions.
that's all. Okay, ma'am. Next class.
Let's see that. We'll see that.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay,
Bye,
cool.
ma'am.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Ma'am, tomorrow also 6:30.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, bye.